Hi guys, welcome back. For this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make meatballs, and what I'm going to be making with the meatballs is some pen spaghetti, and I'm going to show you how it's seasoned and how I make the meatballs. So to begin with, I'm using the 16 ounce, which is 1 pack of ground beef, and 1 pack of mild Italian sausage, which is at the bottom. So it's both 1 pack 16 ounce. So these are going to be combined, and don't be scared to put your hands in there. So I'm going to show you how I add the seasoning and then make them into the meatballs. So I'm going to be adding, this is garlic and onion. So 2 cloves of garlic, I'm going to say 1/4 piece of onion, and some green onion chopped fine. And I'm going to be mixing these with my hands. Yes guys, I don't mind getting the seasoning in. So these are chopped very finely, of course, so they can blend in easily with the beef. Oops, these should have been opened already. It makes it so much easier. Let me just wash my hands a little bit, guys. It's always good to be prepared with your seasoning on hand, guys. And of course, this is just your regular seasoning. I'm gonna be adding, okay, so let's go ahead and add some black pepper to this. You know, and you move it around to make sure that all of the beef gets seasoned properly. I'm adding some garlic powder. Like so. Paprika. And again, you can add whichever type of powdered season you like. It's a bit, excuse me, a lot. And I'm using some seasoning salt. And this one is like an all-purpose seasoning, guys, so it does enhance the flavor. And I feel like when you use the seasoning salt, you don't have to use too much salt, but still just a little bit salt, because the seasoning salt is similar to the salt. And just go ahead and combine all of this. If you feel like it might need a little bit more, you can add a little bit more, just to make sure that the flavor gets in there. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to this, and yeah, a little bit more. We don't want it too salty. And to this, guys, the panko seasoning is very important. Okay, so this is the panko seasoning, and this is breadcrumbs. Okay, for those that, if you're not sure, it's actually breadcrumbs. So if you don't have panko, you could always grate some breadcrumbs, like toast it a little bit. So that's something that I would do, guys. You toast the breadcrumbs and then grate it, and it would substitute. It could take the place of the panko seasoning. So let's continue, guys. So this is gonna allow the meatballs to come together, and you just need to add enough until you feel like it will kind of come together when you want to make those balls out of the beef. Combine this a little bit, and I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay, and this needs a little bit more. and we combine. And then to this, after this, we can start making the meatballs. You see how it kind of comes together, and sometimes I don't make them too big, although they kind of get smaller once you start frying them. However, optional, you could also add some soy sauce to this, or just to change the color a little bit, or you could just leave it as this, because you don't want the liquid to kind of make it much softer. So we would start making our meatballs, and they would be ready to be fried or to bake. So I'm going to show you now how I'm going to fry these, and then I'm going to add the sauce to this, guys. Okay, so we're just gonna prepare those meatballs in a little bit and then get ready to fry them. And this is what I add for the sauce, and of course also needed for the recipe is the Parmesan cheese, guys. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to fry these in a little bit. Okay guys, so after seasoning the beef, I made the meatballs, and this is how they appear. So I'm gonna brown these on the stove in the oil and then transfer them to bake in this baking pan. And those are gonna bake at 350 degrees for at least 30 minutes. After they're done baking, that's when I put them back in on the stove and add the sauce, and then have the sauce kind of cook down the meatballs for a little bit. So let's brown the meatballs, and the oil already preheated. So I'm just gonna add, so you can see guys, as many meatballs to the oil as I can. And the reason why I like to bake is because, you know, inside needs to be cooked through, and it can take, you know, a little bit more time if you try to cook through the meatballs just in oil on the stove. And I don't want to add too much oil to this. The oil would definitely, you know, more oil would definitely make the meatballs cook through inside quicker, but again, we want to cut down on too much of the oil. So turn this up a little bit, just have these brown on all sides, guys, and then we're gonna bake in the oven for 30 minutes. And then we cook down the meatballs in the sauce. And you know, this is like a regular American style meatball, and you know, there are different variations. You know, you can add, you know, different things, or you can make it other ways, but yeah. And I'm gonna use something else to help turn these. But guys, you don't want them to break apart, so very important. So that's why it's important to add enough of the panko seasoning, because that definitely, or breadcrumbs, it definitely keeps them together. Yeah. And the oven is already preheated at 350. So, you know, ready for these to be baked. So yeah, we're having these just brown on all sides as best as possible. And you know that inside is definitely takes some time to cook through. So yeah, very important for the recipe, guys. So while those brown on each side, for sure you want to make sure you have your Parmesan cheese to sprinkle on top when everything is done, when you've added the sauce, you know, and that's gonna definitely increase, you know, it's gonna make it taste so much better. And you can serve this with spaghetti or rice. And I'm gonna be serving this with the pen spaghetti, guys. Yeah, but you know, meatball and spaghetti is they always they work well together. So those are the options. So let's see if these are ready to turn once more, and then we're just gonna bake for 30 minutes. So okay, so they're looking a little, yes, brown a little bit. And as I mentioned prior, guys, you can always add, if you have browning, if you want your meatballs to look, you know, you can add browning, but they're definitely gonna get their color once they go into the oven. So it might not be necessary. Yeah, and because these aren't fully cooked through, you know, if you were opting to cook through the meatballs fully in your on top of the stove, it would take a little bit more time. I'd say maybe 10 minutes more or so, to make sure they're cooked through, and then they definitely get the color a little bit more. So yeah. I'm just gonna leave those a little bit more, guys, to cook through or to get brown, and then we're gonna put them in the oven. But this is an ideal recipe because the kids are home, you know, if they're on summer break, and kids always love the meatballs and spaghetti. So this is an ideal meal, you know, dinner for them, that they'll certainly love. So you can certainly try the meatball and spaghetti, and yeah. So we're gonna turn these once more, and then take them out, put them into the baking pan, and bake for 30 minutes. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit because I don't really want these to burn. We don't want these to burn too much, and then we know they're not cooked well. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off now, guys, and I'm gonna move these into the, just so that you're seeing, let's just put these into the baking dish. And you can line this if you want. You could line the baking dish. Okay guys, so after 30 minutes of the meatballs baking in the oven, this is how they look. And you can see they're cooked through, they're baked through. And so now I'm just gonna cook these down in the sauce. And I feel like you could also add the sauce to this and maybe put them back in the oven, you know, for time. If you don't have the time, and just have these finish cooking down in the sauce. However, I'm just gonna, can add this oil on here as well, or some of it. And like so. No. Guys, I'm adding all of the sauce. And I'm gonna add some water to this just to get all of it out. And you know, this takes a little while to boil, so I'm gonna remove this. And we'll just wait on this to just come to a boil. And you know, you just want the sauce to get warm and the meatballs to be coated in the sauce somewhat, and the meatballs are done. And because the meatballs are already cooked through from the oven, you don't need too much cooking time. So just gonna allow that to come to a boil. I'm just gonna cover it. And of course, guys, this is the cheese. Usually I sprinkle some of the Parmesan cheese on top. Mozzarella cheese also goes well with this after it's done cooked and you've plated your food. You can add mozzarella cheese on there. The Parmesan cheese goes on top, and you can also add more while the food is on the plate, of course. So I'm just gonna say 1 minute for this to just boil a little. And hear it boiling. That back, and in the meantime, guys, I'm gonna add the pasta. I made pasta and show you how it looks on the plate as usual. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off. You see, it's bubbling. Don't want it to splash too much. And yeah. Let's just pasta, guys, and I'm just gonna add the cheese on the plate. So definitely need the sauce, guys. Like so. Let's move the camera so you can see it. And I would say just sprinkle a little bit on top. Guys, please make sure to try the recipe, and I'm adding some slice of broccolini to the plate. Still cooking, guys. Okay, guys, and so there you have it. Just make sure you can see it. So sorry guys, trying to make sure you can see me while I'm showing you the plate. So yeah, so this is how it looks, and again, it's perfect for the kids. You know, the meatballs and spaghetti, the kids would definitely love this meal. And cooking time is roughly, I would say, 1 hour, 30 minutes in the oven, 30 minutes to prepare and brown on both sides or so, but it does make a delicious meal. So I'll be sure to leave the recipe description in the box below for this American style meatball and pasta recipe. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos, for more content. And thank you for watching, and until next time, guys, bye.